Welcome back to the Herban Farmacy podcast. I hope that you are having the best day ever. It's me, Stacey Heine, your holistic nutritionist and plant-based coach and lifestyle wellness mentor. And I hope that you are excited for today's episode because I really enjoyed interviewing my guest. My guest is Gianna Simone, and I'm going to tell you more about her before we get into the episode. But even before that, I want to let you know about a new clean, waterless beauty brand that I found called Olive Tree People. Now, you'll be hearing more about this brand from Europe that has been well established for 20 years and just came to the United States. But I just want to share a few things that have transformed my health in the last few weeks that I've been actually using these products. I'm going to do another podcast episode letting you know about what's happened to my health since the beginning of January 2023. But needless to say, I've had some inflammatory issues. And I have been taking this amazing camu and olive leaf concentrate extract, which has really helped my symptoms of inflammation and histamine intolerance. And I'm feeling really great. My digestion is great. And I feel more mental clarity. I've also been drinking the olive leaf matcha tea, which makes me feel phenomenal and have a nice, focused mind and a great gut. I've also been ingesting something called the Beauty Molecule. This is a vegan hyaluron formulation, which actually helps to improve the skin and reduce inflammation from the inside out. So, like I said, this is a waterless beauty brand. You're going to be hearing more about it. These are the internals that I've been taking, and they've really helped me feel better. Now, there's also topicals that are absolutely amazing, and they're based on the olive leaf extract, and they are very powerful for helping to bring your natural beauty out. So I highly suggest that you check out Olive Tree People down at the link below. You can look around. It is free shipping on $50 orders. And I know that you're going to love this waterless beauty brand as much as I do. If you want to start feeling better, I definitely suggest starting with the internals. So I'll link all of those below. All right, so now I want you to learn about my guest, Gianna Simone. She is an exemplary role model for those who seek inspiration, for those who want to positively impact the world. She has overcome great obstacles in her past, and Gianna found great strength in acting. She has been in some of Hollywood's biggest successes, such as Star Trek Into the Darkness, I Can Only Imagine, Garry Marshall's Mother's Day, and Unbroken: Path to Redemption. Her life goal is to bring hope and positive change to abused and neglected individuals all around the world. As a role model, her story of success demonstrates that through faith in Jesus, there is a bright future. She serves as a mentor for a residential facility in Los Angeles area and serves as a board member of the Planttrition Project, where physicians and healthcare practitioners are educated, empowered, and equipped with knowledge about the indisputable benefits of plant-based nutrition. Gianna is also the producer and host of the Amazon Prime show Love, Gianna, where she interviews the world's top plant-based physicians and athletes. She has spoken at the United Nations on behalf of her foundation, the Gianna Simone Foundation, which works closely with foster youth and animal rescues. I know this podcast episode is going to totally inspire you. It was a really great conversation with Gianna, and I'm just very happy to have her in my life. So if you love it, make sure that you share and that you subscribe to the channel wherever you are listening, whether this is on Apple Podcasts or you're watching on YouTube. Please subscribe, share this message so that we can make the world a little better, one day and one person at a time. All right, without further ado, here is Gianna. Gianna Simone, welcome to the Herban Farmacy podcast. I am super excited to have you here.
I'm so excited to be here with you.
So we were chatting before we started this interview, and we hit it off right away. There's a lot of things that we have in common, and we're going to dive into those today. But I want to know your story first. So I know it's probably long, lengthy, and in depth, but who is Gianna? Let's start with that, and then we'll get into your story. Who are you?
Okay. Well, I guess I'm a lot of things. And I had mentioned this earlier, and first and foremost, my identity comes from Jesus. And I love him so much, and I've dedicated my life to him, and it's changed my life. So when I was younger, I was abused and neglected, and then I went into the foster care system. I'm going to give you the lumps, the quick version, and then if you want to hear more about a certain time, then just let me know. So I was put into the foster care system. I grew up in Boston, so I was moved around the Boston area, like Chelsea, Massachusetts, and Revere, Massachusetts, Charlestown, Massachusetts, and I jumped around from foster home to foster home, and then finally landed in a girls' home, and it was a wild time in life. Like, when I talk about it, I don't necessarily love talking about it because I don't like to look back. I like to look forward. But it's also, I think, important to share our very real, challenging times in life, especially when we've come out of it and successfully with a lot of tools in the tool chest to help people. And so I don't share any of this information to shame anybody, but to help people and to help listeners say that, hey, if I went through this, whatever you're going through, similar or not, you can make it out too. And these are some of the things that I did. And if they help you, do it. And so,
how old were you when you ended up there?
I was 13 when I first went into the foster care system. And there was this woman who I worked out at this gym constantly, like 10 hours a day. I was just like so angry at what was happening on a daily basis. And I also had like a slight eating disorder at this time. And then it progressively got a little worse. But I would love to exercise for many different reasons. The main reason being it was a healthy form of getting out. It was like a healthy form of therapy and getting out my anger and energy, and it was just a really beautiful place. And I always wanted to be around kind people, especially being treated unkindly a lot. And so I just really valued and cherished healthy situations. I didn't necessarily know, like, I learned what healthy was. And so I worked out like 10 hours a day. I would just take class after class after class after class, and my body was like ripped.
Wow, yeah.
And so that was a great side effect too. And this woman who owned the gym, her name was Kathy DeMarco. My parents wouldn't come to get me, and she'd be like, "Do you need a ride home? Like, what's going on?" And so I confided in her, and I told her the truth. And shortly after that conversation, things just they were always like up and down, up and down, up and down, just hectic. And I had what's called a CHINS taken out on me. It stands for Child in Need of Service. But so you get assigned a probation officer, and my probation officer was like, I'm dealing with like gangs and selling and doing drugs and like criminals that are under 18, I think it was, if you get a probation officer and you're a juvenile. And so she's like, but you're going to, like, I got into a test school. You have to test to get into it. And she's like, you're going to one of the best schools in Boston, and you're getting straight A's, but you just seem to have problems at home. So what's going on? And my probation officer really stood up for me. And this one crazy violent night happened. And because I had this CHINS taken out of me, whenever something happens like that, she gets notified. And so I got arrested. I got taken to the local police station, got put behind bars in this like holding cell, and I was 13. And my dad didn't live in the home, so I called my dad to come bail me out. I was like looking behind the bars, and I was like, Dad. He got to the police station. I'm like, Dad, are you help? he's like, he calls me Jeej. He's like, I'm here, Jeej.
Oh,
And we stayed at a hotel that night because whenever you get arrested, I don't know if you've ever been arrested or anybody watching this has ever been arrested. It's not fun. Don't do it. I don't recommend it. But you have to go to court the next day. And unless it's a Friday, and then you have to go to court Monday. But so we went to court the next day, and my probation officer stood up for me in front of the judge and was like, Gianna is one of the best kids that I've ever not only have on my case, but I've ever met. You know, I'm paraphrasing. And she really went to bat for me. It was the first time in my life somebody had ever really done that. And I felt really safe and protected, and like somebody was telling the truth about the situation, and I wasn't going to be treated this way anymore. Like I wasn't going to be falsely accused or abused, or she just had my back, and she was an official, like an official having your back. And so I didn't go to jail, and there were no charges pressed, and the situation, was brought to light and the truth was revealed. And I'm so grateful for that moment, because when I was in the hotel room the night before, I was scared. I was like, I don't want to go to jail, and I don't want to go to juvie. I don't want to deal with all the stuff that would happen in there. Like, it was scary. And I mean, I can defend myself, and I did defend myself, but I didn't want to live that. I didn't deserve it. And I didn't want to be put in that situation. And so what happened was my probation officer said, well, knowing this information now, like now it's gotten to the breaking point, we have to take you out of your home, and we have to put you into foster care, because my dad couldn't take care of me and provide at the time. He was going through his own struggles. And so there were a few family members that tried to take me, but the process of being a foster parent is so vigorous. Like one of my cousins was arrested when he was like 18, and he had that on his record. And so he could not take me, even though he was fine to take me at a house, and he had a wife and a son. And I did live with him at one point down the road when I got out of foster care. But he couldn't legally take me out. And then another cousin had some law stuff. Like I don't know if he got arrested or like what was happening, but he legally couldn't take me out either. But he also had a wife, and great guy, and could have easily taken care of me, and I could have been with family and somebody I knew. But that was it. And those were the only two family members out of my big Italian family that stepped up and tried to do something. And then Kathy would come to court. The gym owner would come to court every couple of months and say, in the face of my mom saying she didn't want me, Kathy would say, I do want her. I want her. And it was just so beautiful. And so during that time, I was in all these foster homes and ended up in this girls' home. And then Kathy ended up passing away. And that just was awful to experience, awful. And but she was a Christian, and she would take me to church, and I would think that, I would go in this small non-denominational Christian church, and like people were raising their hands and praise and worship, and I'm like, these people are crazy. Like, I don't know why I'm here. Like, I don't believe this. And I grew up Catholic. Like, I really didn't have a relationship with God. And I was just angry and abused, and like but I knew how much she loved me. Like, I was still aware, and I was still capable of seeing and feeling love from a person. And I think that was because of my age. I was still young, and I was still learning things. And so I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for her. And then she passed away, and then I kept going to this church, and then I realized how much God does love me, and how much I am loved, and how I am valuable, and I have a purpose, and God has a plan for me on this planet. And I started to see myself through his loving eyes, and my view of myself changed. And it took a long time, and I'm still growing. I'm still growing closer to him. But now I'm one of those people lifting my hands in praise and worship from my just extreme love for him, and how he's changed my life. And it's been a drastic change. And I think that's why I love animals so much, and why I'm vegan, is because I've been through unjust times of physical abuse and neglect. And obviously animals are horrifically slaughtered and their lives are taken from them. But I know what it's like to have to go through things that you don't deserve. And
Wow.
when you're an innocent party. And so that it just is heart-wrenching for me to know the truth about what we do to billions, if not trillions, of animals every single year who are the most innocent babies, and animals are babies too. They're
Right.
just a different form of animal. And so yeah, that's pretty much I know I said I would give you the shortened version, and that was kind of like the extended
No.
version, but
Well, I mean, let's keep the story going. So, and I'll dip back into pieces of this. Then what happened once you were 18? Like, how did you then go into adulthood? How did you discover acting and doing, getting to where you are now?
So when I was 16, I was in high school and I was in foster care, and it was really, really, really challenging because I lived in a part of town in Massachusetts where I had to take multiple buses and a train and then more buses to get to school. So I'm not a morning person, I'm a night owl, and I probably always will be. And so getting up at like I think I got up around like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning maybe, and I had to be in school by 7:15. And to do all of this, and I like sometimes my dad would come and pick me up like at my foster home, and he would drive me if he had a car at the time. But it was just going through all of that heaviness at home and getting to my high school was on my own was just it was just too much. Like it was just too much. Like I would get to school and I would sleep in homeroom, and like my homeroom class actually voted me like the president or something like that, even because I think I was just like, I think I've always been like a natural leader, even though like I think people see my heart, I do my best. And even though I was like struggling a lot, I think people saw, I don't know. It's not my business what people think of me, but that's the most sense I can think of it, make out of it and think about it is that I think I'm just myself. I've always been very authentic. And so yeah, I would just like sleep during homeroom because I was so exhausted and it was just getting really hard. And so I knew I had to do something. And like other than school, like I had to get my GED and go to college, or I had to get my GED and work. And I really had this burning desire and this sense of purpose that I still have that I can't look away from. And it's in my guts and in my chest and in my mind, and it's fully through my being that I have, at the time, it was, I have to be a model. Like I have to be a model. And I'm like 5'6", 5'5", 5'6".
Yeah.
and I'm like, I have an athletic, slender build. Like I'm not 5'11" anorexic looking.
Right.
And so, but it didn't matter to me because I knew this was my purpose. I knew it. And I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I knew it was my purpose. And it wasn't some like vain a concept or idea of like, oh, it was, I knew I had to do it. And I don't know if you've experienced that with specific things in your life. That's just
for sure.
calling. Like you don't know.
Yeah. I mean, even if you just don't want to, I think that's part of the plan that you can't see, and maybe for the listeners, maybe some people can resonate with this. I think it's like, I took a yoga certification. Okay. But it's called Yoga Faith, and it was Jesus first, yoga second. And
Christian too?
Yes.
My goodness, I didn't know that.
Yes. So Michelle Thielon, I don't want to butcher her last name. She created this yoga certification to help people be able to teach yoga, but with like Christian principles, which I thought was so cool. And I was going through like fertility struggles at the time that I did this. But anyways, I went to the certification. We were there for a full week. It was totally like, it was like 12 hours a day or more. It was amazing. But like the first thing that she said when we got there was like, I don't want to be here. She was like, I don't want to be here. She's like, but this is my purpose. This is what I was assigned. And here we are. She's like, I would rather do other things with my life, but this is what God told me to do. So here we are. So maybe with modeling, that was, that was your calling. I mean, that was your assignment.
Absolutely. And then that flipped into acting. And I feel like God would, like, that's the path God wanted me to take, because people would tell me, oh, well, you're not 5'11" and anorexic skinny, and you should cut your hair. Like, my hair is really long. It's always been long, probably will always be long. And just like the night owl.
It's really pretty hair. Your hair is gorgeous.
Yours too.
Oh, thanks.
And so, they just wanted to change me, and like, I didn't fit the mold, and I've never really fit the mold. And so, anyway, they would tell me, you should act instead of model. And I'm like, no, I'm modeling. You're not going to tell me what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this. And so I would go around to all these different agencies, and they would reject me. And so I was like, fine, I'll do this myself. And then I started like showing up to castings. Like, I would crash some castings, like, the game Clue.
Yeah.
So I went to this casting that was a print job for the game Clue. And I went as like Miss Scarlet, and I like wore this like outfit of Miss Scarlet, and I put a screwdriver in my pocket, and I totally crashed the casting. Like, nobody invited me to the casting. And then I kept booking the job. And so things just like, God will open doors. All you have to do is just take that first step of faith, and he opens miraculous doors. I've seen it time and time again. It's amazing. And so so I ended up booking my own work, and I went to the top agency in Boston, and I went to them 3 times. And my friend and they rejected me each time. And then my friend, who's a photographer, who I still have a great relationship with to this day, and his whole family and his kids. And it's amazing. A lot of photographers that I worked with, I'm like besties with. Mm-hmm. And so it's so cool that you gain like friendships and beautiful relationships and following your purpose too. Yes. And so he was like, I think you should go back and tell them about all these campaigns that you've been doing. And because I was booking like so much work on my own. It was amazing.
Wow.
And that third time, that I think it was the second or third time that I had gone to them, I was like, guys, I booked a campaign for, do you know French's mustard and Frank's red sauce? So I booked a campaign for them, and I was like, guys, I just booked a campaign for like this major company, like on my own, like represent me.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, when it comes out, come back to us. And my friend Oliver was like, you should go back and tell them. And I was like, I'm not going back 3 times.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, Gianna, I think you should go back. So I went back, they signed me, and I ended up becoming like one of their top booking models. And I was like, we could have been doing this before.
Yeah. I love that. And you were like 16 still? Like, you were super young?
I was 17 or 18 at this point.
Okay. Yep. Still.
And then people would tell me I should act instead of model. Then I became successful in modeling. And then ironically, I fell in love with acting, because in a commercial market like Boston, I was modeling for like Reebok and New Balance. And it was amazing. And I did some fashion shows here and there, but I really liked print work, and I really liked commercial, like that athletic print work. And there were some glamorous print shoots too. Like, I did some work for some bridal companies and clothing companies, and I just love it all. And it's just so fun and fulfilling. And I just have this every time after a photo shoot or a job, I would just feel so much gratitude and God's presence. And it would sometimes bring me to tears. Like, I'm just so grateful I get to live out God's purpose for my life. It's so important to me. So important.
That's awesome.
And then he sets it up to where we enjoy it too. Like, I really love it. I love it. I love feeling connected to him and that whole process of carrying out his will for our lives. It's so special. It's so special. And so, I ironically fell in love with acting. And then my agency at the time said, I was like, I really want to go to New York or LA. And my agency in Boston, the one who rejected me 3 times, was like, I don't know if you're ready for a bigger market. And I was like, I'm ready. Don't tell me. and then I booked a cover shoot, and then I got a job on, what was it, Law and Order Criminal Intent. And that was a super cool process. Like, Jeff Goldblum. I met him and I was with my dad, and my dad got to meet him. They like selected me out of a bunch of people like that day. And it was just so cool. And then my friend was like, Gianna, you're really doing so much stuff. Do you ever think about coming to LA? And I was like, well, I've actually been thinking about it. And she was like, well, I work for a management company. Come out here and we'll represent you. So I moved. And I was like, okay, I don't really love New York. Like
Yeah.
I like it now, and I like going now. But back then it was like a hustle, and I would go by myself, and I would like take the Feng Hua bus. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Feng Hua bus, but it was
No.
$20 bus ticket.
Oh
And then one
Lord.
time, but they would always like crash off the side of the highway.
Oh
One time
God.
set on fire. Like it was just a hustle. And so I would always like, back then, not anymore, associate New York being like hectic and just like, I'd never been to LA, and I'm so grateful I moved to LA because more miracles happened. And so yeah, that's the story.
Wow. Okay. And so you go out to LA, you become a successful actor. And at what point did you decide to start eating vegan?
So doing what I did for a living, it requires you have to take care of yourself, and it's a very appearance focused business, especially with modeling. And then when I was getting into acting more too, I mean, you have to look good on camera. That's just part of the job.
Yeah.
Like being on a podcast, you have to present yourself well, right?
Yeah.
And so I took that very seriously. I take everything I do very seriously, and whatever it is, and respect it and honor it. And so I was breaking out. My skin was breaking out. And I was always on I was struggling with an eating disorder, and I was eating like low carb, or I was starving myself. And my diet, I thought I was healthy. Like I was eating like boiled chicken and cheeses, and I just didn't know what to do. And I didn't have any help. And so I started to break out, and it was really deeply challenging. I don't know if you've ever struggled with skin issues.
Yeah, I have, for sure.
It's real, like it's isolating, and it was scary for me because I didn't want it to affect what I love to do and my purpose. And I would just like spend nights crying, and just like screaming, crying, like I just don't know what to do, like crying out to God. And my dad and I are very close, and I would call my dad and I'd be like, Dad, I don't know what to do. And then I went to a dermatologist, and he was like injecting my face with cortisone and needles, and he would put me on prednisone. I was on antibiotics for a year, and none of it was working. And so I watched a couple documentaries. I found out about GMOs and about the food system, and I found Freely the Banana Girl, who I've actually had on my show. And then I just changed my diet slowly but surely. I think I went like pescatarian, and then vegetarian, and then I was juicing a lot, and then I tried raw, and then I found my balance with a whole food plant-based diet. And then it's shift that also. So Christ is giving my life to Christ and trusting him with my life was the best decision I've ever made in my life. And the second best decision I've made in my life is going plant-based.
Yeah.
And both of them work together. Have you noticed that?
I feel, well, that's a really good question. Nobody has ever asked me that question. I just feel like this is the way, and
Yes.
I'm not trying to tell other people how to live their lives, but like, once you know, once you live plant-based, your entire life shifts, and it's just this different, I mean, some people call it a different frequency, a different vibration. You're just at a different level. It's just, I feel closer to God, I guess. I mean, I don't know if that's because of the plant-based eating, or because I chose to give my life to him around the same time. But yeah, I don't know. That's a really good question. Explain to me how you feel that they go hand in hand, Gianna.
Thank you. I will. And so first of all, Christ is everything. And when I say they go hand in hand, I mean that he created us in the beginning. His intent for us is to eat plants. He says it in his word.
Yes.
And in the end, there will be no more crying, pain, or death.
Yeah.
And so in order to eat animals, we have to kill them, and there has to be death. And so his intent in the beginning and the intent, or what will happen in the end, you know, the start of forever with him in perfection again, there's going to be no more suffering. So animals won't suffer and die. And so I do not believe that God delights. He allowed it after the fall of man. He allowed it, but he does not delight in any of his creatures that he gave this breath of life to, we and animals. It's called nephesh. And he gave us souls. I don't believe that he delights in us taking innocent life from anyone. And it's just, I think when we align ourselves with his intent and what he delights in, we experience a level of connectivity to him. It's like sinning, right? Like if we sin separates us from God. And that's why we needed Christ. And so I think there's something in the way he designed our bodies, like when heart disease is the #1 killer of men and women.
Yeah.
And it comes from eating animals and their byproducts.
Yeah.
And so when we stop that, our bodies heal and we experience his grace.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Oh,
it's
that's
like
wow.
in our bodies, we, on a physical, biological level, experience his grace when we shift to his ultimate intention for us.
Yeah.
And because he doesn't want to punish us, of course not. And he forgives us, and he goes to great lengths to forgive us. He's very gracious, he's very merciful, and he loves us. And that's why he wants us to thrive. That's why he delights in this way of living. That's why he delights in his original intent. It's because it's for our best, it's for our benefit. So I think that when I said they go hand in hand, I think that's what he gave us in order to operate on the highest level and the most beneficial level physically for our bodies. And because our physical bodies are connected to our spiritual mind and our brains, and it's not just like, oh, our brain's over here and then our bodies are over here. We're all one and it's all connected. And of course, if you exercise and your body is physically healthy, your mental health is going to be better. If you process your mental health and trauma, then you're going to be more apt to have some energy and go for a walk, and your physical health is going to be better. They all, when you work one individually, they all synergistically improve.
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, before we get too far into this episode, I want to let you know about my upcoming wellness webinar called Rooted in Wellness. It is a holistic health masterclass to help you create the habits and mindset that you need so that you can redefine your reality and get unstuck. So join me October 25th at 8 p.m. Eastern for this free event. Rooted in Wellness will teach you about the major keys to wellness that can transform your life and prepare you to thrive and not just survive. Learn how caring for your body and mind through plant-based and holistic living, dropping perfectionism, and showing up with the mentality of a woman who's in control of her well-being will help you step into your highest version. You know, for my clients and my members that work with me, I really truly have it on my heart that my purpose here is to help women rise up. Now is your time. It is not a time that you have to just survive anymore. This is your chance to thrive. So join me in Rooted in Wellness, my free webinar. Click the show note links down below, and I will see you there. All right, back to the show. I mean, it's kind of like holistic living. Like, I think that we just have to sometimes slow down and take a bird's eye view of our life and look at the different areas of our life. And I teach holistic living like that. I mean, that means something different to everyone. And I'm actually going to ask you at the end of this what it means to you. So there's a little hint on what to think about. But I believe that holistic living is 5 different things. It is body nourishment. It is belief system. It is honoring earth. It is mind-body connection. And it is success environment. So those things, when you tackle all of them, you're cohesively pulling it all together, and it just, it all works so well together if you can look at things in like from a bird's eye view, you know, and how they all cohesively do work together. So that was good. We've never talked about that on this podcast, so this is good. I liked that, Gianna. So, okay. So you've gone through your journey. You are living your life. You've changed your life. You have broken free from your past pain. You've used your past to, you know, turn into something beautiful. And so now you have a business, a beauty business as well. I want to hear about that.
Yes.
I want to hear about your show, and
Yes.
then I want to talk about gardening, because we were talking about that before the show, before this interview started. So at what point did you decide to start a beauty business? And tell us more about that, because I'm all about the beauty. Anything that's going to make me more pretty. I don't care. I really care a lot about the way that I look. I am never ashamed of it.
You're stunning, stunning, stunning.
Oh, thank you.
And so, well, I think holistic beauty is very important. And if we have, I think what you were talking about, everything, multiple factors coming together holistically, helping what you want to see. Like we all have needs, we all have desires and wants, and how are we going to meet those needs? And for a lot of women, beauty matters. And I think that's normal. That's a part of life. And so how can we, on multiple levels, be our best selves and feel beautiful? And I think adopting an organic, whole food, plant-based diet, chemicals, no bueno. Like, who wants to eat chemicals?
Yeah.
Put them on your skin and have them in your body. Like, that's no bueno. And it's not going to help aging. It's just not going to help anybody. Yeah. And so, a plant-based diet has been proven, Dr. Ornish proved this, that it lengthens telomeres. Mm-hmm. And so Dr. Greger just wrote the book, How Not to Age. And I know that you're going to have him on your soon. I've had him on my show. He's amazing. We love Dr. Greger. Dr. Greger, we love you.
Yes, we do.
Yes. And so I think having a healthy diet and eating the freshest non-chemical food you can find, whether it's certified organic or at a farmer's market that's not sprayed with pesticides or has, very, very, very little to no chemical use when it's grown. And there's like some natural pesticides that people use, like in my garden, I'll speak for myself. I use like neem oil sometimes or soap. And so, so I think that's a big part of it. And then natural. So I created this gua sha line, and I'll show you some. So if anybody doesn't know what a gua sha is, it's a stone. I have this.
Oh, that's so pretty.
Carefully and wonderfully made.
Aww. That's beautiful.
And they have this magnetic closure. And then that's the face one. And then I have two different colors. I have amethyst and white jade, and that was white jade.
Ah, they're so pretty.
They're all
so
different.
Much more pretty than the Amazon ones that I have. And then, if you're anybody that doesn't know, as Gianna is showing these, and if you're just listening to these, like gua sha stones are, and you can elaborate on this.
Yes,
Gianna, they are. I mean, where did they come from? Like, where was it from Ayurvedic? Like
Chinese medicine. They're just these healing tools.
Yeah.
And then this one is super special. It's a body one. Oh, and there's like you can use it on a smaller area. You can use this on your face. It's bean stone, and bean stone produces ultrasonic healing pulses. So it penetrates deep into the muscle. And that's what natural beauty is not having to use chemicals on your face or in your face. And that's what Botox does. It releases it relaxes the muscle. And so you don't have the lines. And so that's what massage does. It relaxes the muscle, and then it penetrates deep into the muscle. And that body one helps fascia and cellulite. And that stone is like the original, like the OG stone in Chinese medicine. It's called bean stone. So that's my beauty line.
Hey, I want to bring up one little thing Um, that, and I'm not trying to put anybody in a box, but of what I've heard recently, just like on different podcasts, and some people saying like, what did you say? It has like ultrasonic what?
Ultrasonic healing pulses. So the friction of that particular stone with your skin creates these healing pulses. I don't know the exact science behind it, but
Right.
I've learned about this
It's
stone.
science. It's science is the point. And so well, I just hear, and I'm totally not putting anybody in a box, but I've heard a lot of believers say that there's like this, like, they don't talk about like elements of the earth and how they can be healing and stuff like that. Like, like frequencies and vibrations and materials, like they can be. And they're like, well, no, it's just all God. And I'm like, well, yes, it is. But like, we have to also look at these awesome tools and honor them for what they are. So I think that that's amazing. I just wanted to bring that up.
And I have to send you this article. It's quite profound. God in the holy city that he creates for us, and when the end of this world and the beginning of his holy city, his second coming, the holy city is built on a foundation of incredible stones like that amethyst, jade.
Yeah.
What's another one? There's like multi-layers of these stones, the gates of pearl. Like he uses.
Yes.
So it's just like grounding, going outside with your bare feet. It has these amazing physical benefits, and we're just not supposed to worship them, but we can use them to help us, just like medicine. Sometimes medicine helps us. Absolutely. So, and food, it's all a gift from him to help us and meet our needs.
So, and for those of you who weren't watching and didn't see those beautiful tools, they are stones, typically flat, sometimes have different curvatures to them, and you can use them on different areas of your body and your face to not only stimulate collagen production, but also to create blood flow. That goes hand in hand. Also to drain your lymphatic, system, if you will, and depuff your face, and to help reduce fine lines and wrinkles, reduce inflammation. What do you like to use your gua sha with, like an oil of some sort?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'll use it when I take my makeup off for the day, and I take my makeup off with usually amla oil, broccoli oil, everything's organic. Mm-hmm. What else do I use? Jojoba oil. Sometimes I'll use raspberry oil, just different really clean oils, olive oil to take my makeup off with, and then I'll wash my face after that. But before I wash my face and all the makeup is off and oil is on my skin, then I'll work my skin. And so I also have these pouches because the stones are very gentle, and so these are storage pouches. And so what I'll do with the gua sha stone is I'll take it. I have the heart-shaped ones. And so I'll take it and like work my jawline.
Yeah, I really need to work my jawline. Like it's just at 38, I'm almost 39. I'm telling you what, like it is just, my jowls.
What jowls?
Oh, they are real. Okay. And it's bothering me a lot. So I need to get back on the gua sha game. That is.
Oh my goodness. You're so funny. Jowls, get out.
No, I was looking into like face yoga. Have you seen those like things come across your Instagram reels, like Instagram stories where somebody has like their thumb in their mouth and they're like sucking in like at their cheek to sculpt their face? Hey, I'll do anything.
I know. And facials for sure.
Oh yes, for sure.
Yeah, okay. So that's my beauty line.
That's awesome. So you're you're really living this organic life. Like you're talking about raspberry oil. I mean, I use like clean beauty. I'm totally into that. I have been for like 8+ years, but like you're just using the pure oil like that. I love it. Okay. So, so you also garden. We garden as well. We have a farm here in Indiana. Was a fun little hobby and then turned into like second full-time job for my husband. Sorry, honey, if you listen to this, he won't. But so you have fruit trees. I'm super. I I am jealous. I'm so jealous because
You
we
not
can't.
have fruit trees at your farm?
No, I meant to say you have fruit trees. You have fruit trees.
Oh,
And
yes.
we don't. You can grow fruit. Like we kill all the fruit that we've tried to grow. We do have apples, we do have cherry trees, but we just continue to kill them. Sorry,
Aw.
trees. And the blueberry trees. I know it's blueberry bushes, but like, what are you growing? And when did you find your green thumb?
Well, just the desire for it really, like I love fruit. Fruit is probably 80% of what I eat, and 70 to 80%. Sometimes it goes up to 90, maybe even 100 at sometimes if I'm raw. Or maybe like 98, and then I'll have the occasional green salad. But mostly I eat, I love starches, and Dr. McDougall taught me
Same
that's
here. I am so obsessed with starch.
yeah, it really satisfies the drive.
It just works for me. Yeah.
Yeah, same. And I feel maybe raw, like I'm a little tiny bit leaner, but what's is if I'm working my workouts and my weightlifting and my silks and stuff like that, it's good. Like I don't even have to try. That's another benefit of being whole food plant-based. You can eat all you care for until you're satisfied and nourished, and you can go on with your day and look and feel great. It's amazing.
I don't enjoy restriction. I don't enjoy small portions.
No.
Give me a plate of fruit, like food. By the way, you should go to Woodstock Fruit Festival sometime. If you've never heard about it, you should go.
I've been.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, have you?
Yes, we went last year. I took our son. It was so fun. It was
really, really fun. Highly recommend your viewers to check out Woodstock Fruit Festival. It's super fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so the garden. So I have 13 fruit trees, and I just wanted to grow my own food in soil that I know, and I know what's in there. I know it doesn't have to be transported with toxic fumes and stuff like that, and I can just know what I'm picking and what I'm eating. And then I worked with a gardener, and the soil that I use, I didn't want to use any animal products, so it's actually a veganic garden. So it's all organic.
Yeah, that's next level.
Is next level, and it grows. Like I don't use fertilizer.
Yeah, I mean there's like green manure, like like or cover crops. Like there's so many ways to garden without
exactly. But I don't, and these trees are thriving. Like I have a fig tree and a plum tree that are fully grown, and they produce like I have to give it to all my neighbors.
I love that.
So much fruit. It's amazing, and I'm like, this is what he intended for us, like to pick food and feel it in your hands and smell it and the freshness and the taste of it. And like, it's just seeing, like, these are like little babies that grew into these great fruit trees. And it's just so special. And really, I don't do much. I mean, I go out there and I talk to them and I pray over them and I thank God for them. And there's actually been science, speaking of science, there's been science that not fruit trees, but all trees respond to sound and to sound waves, like the birds singing and music playing, like classical music. And so there's a lot of science behind like all that stuff, and it's very, very interesting. And so so I just put up a drip line. I had a gardener help me, and then I'll do the occasional trimming, and I'll make sure I pick the fruit when it's ripe, and sometimes I'll have to share with nature, like the birds and the squirrels. And then I trim them back when the season is, or a couple of seasons they last for. Like the fig tree lasts for multiple seasons. So then when that's done, I'll trim the branches back. And there's 13 of them. So I have mango, pomegranate, banana, grapefruit, lemon, lime, lychee, which is my favorite fruit, fig, plum, dragon fruit, which James and Dahlia of Married to Health gave me. What else? Pomegranate. I forget. Mandarin, and what else? An orange. 13.
Love that.
Yeah.
You need to get a freeze dryer, Gianna, because what? Do you know what that is?
To freeze dry fruit. So there could be.
Yes. Ooh. I am currently freeze drying figs. I get I know, right? And I got all 3 varieties from Whole Foods because they're like, oh, and you would be like, I've spent so much stupid money on these tiny little figs. Like, I'm just, whatever, it's fine. But yeah, so they're in the freeze dryer. I just feel like they're going to be so good and so crispy and delicious. So then that way you can enjoy them all year.
I'm going to look into this.
Way better than dehydrated, right? Or dried figs. Like, I mean, dried figs are so good, right? But like freeze dried fruit just takes your whole experience to the next level.
Dried mangoes, they're delicious. It's like candy. It's like a snack candy.
Yeah. Fruit's the bomb.
Everybody
needs to eat more fruit and more starch. Okay, you guys will be happier. I swear.
It's true. See what I mean? It's true.
It really is. It's so true. What's your favorite starch? There's a lot of starches out there.
Potatoes.
Same here. Just white? Just white
no, potatoes? I like all different varieties. I was just watching Dan Buettner's The Blue Zones and Okinawa, which is a blue zone. Their main diet consists of purple sweet potatoes.
That's what I get.
Purple sweet potato or a orange sweet potato.
Yeah, I get the ones. I go to the international grocery store and I know that they're not organic, but I still get them. We've been trying to grow them. They're the ones that are white on the outside and purple on the inside. And those are the Okinawa ones, also known as the Hawaiian sweet potato. And they are so much better than all purple sweet potatoes. Don't mistake them for a purple Stokes sweet potato. Purple Stokes is purple on the outside and purple on the inside. The Okinawan ones are white on the outside, purple. You've got to try them. They are so good.
Oh, I don't know now if I've ever had a white on the outside and purple on the inside. Usually the purple ones I get are purple on the outside.
No, they're much different.
Friend, you're teaching me.
They are so good. They are so good. So go to your local international grocery store. You might have them locally at farmers markets as well. Or you could order from Hawaii Veggie Farm, because I've done that before. And they send you like 20 pounds at a time. And you can freeze. Did you know that you can freeze raw sweet potatoes? You can also freeze cooked sweet potatoes. So I will buy, like, we have a chest freezer, a huge chest freezer, and I will just buy large amounts of my favorite sweet potatoes, cook them and freeze them. It's great.
Wow.
So now you know.
Raw sweet potato and preserve it, but that makes sense.
Raw and cooked. It's pretty phenomenal. Yeah. So now you know, and I'm telling you what, I really do love my starch. It's pretty obvious.
Your favorite potato?
I think so. It's just really too hard to ask, though. I mean, that's just too hard of a question because I like them all. I don't really enjoy orange sweet potatoes very much. I would rather have the Japanese ones or all the other colors.
Yeah.
Because there's a ton of other colors. But okay, we could geek out on food, I think, all day. But let's finish this off with your show, because I want to make sure that people go and access your show. Many of the doctors have been interviewed on my podcast that you have interviewed, but you have a whole different way of interviewing people. You're so professional, and it's all put together in a beautiful little package. So how do people access your interviews and your show about plant-based living?
Yes. Okay. So my show is called Love Gianna, and it was created as a show. So I interview them with this gray backdrop, and they've either come into my studio or we've traveled to interview the doctors. And I started this years ago, and it's just morphed into this beautiful show that, God willing, helps people, and in more ways than one. And so I just wanted to share this incredible knowledge that has really helped me, and I've seen and witnessed helped so many people on so many different levels. Like I said earlier, heart disease is the #1 killer of men and women, and it doesn't have to exist. It's a food-borne illness, and that is such powerful information, and everybody should know about this. And I wanted to give people access to it in addition to the access that they've already had. I just wanted to get this information out there. And so I created the show and I contacted all the doctors and I just promoted it. I promoted it alongside with the movies that I was doing and and anybody and everybody. I just want to understand that this is such a beneficial decision and choice, not only for you, but Dr. Scott Stoll was on my podcast, who is like one of my favorite human beings on the planet.
Yes.
And he's also a Christian vegan. And he
Mhm.
said it right. He said, food impacts, touches, and influences every single area of life. And it's so true. Your relationships, your body, your mind, your physical activity, your job, money, savings, inheritance, children, grandchildren, literally on a biological level, it through epigenetics, it affects your grandchildren. I mean, it affects and touches every single element of life. And like getting your hands in soil, there's literally a bacteria in soil, I just learned about this, that helps with depression.
Mm-hmm.
When you're sad, go get some vitamin D and put your hands in some soil.
Yes.
It's amazing. Like that is, it's obviously like you said, it's a holistic package of
Mm-hmm.
things to do, but these things will help you. And if you do a bunch of different things that help, you have the best fighting chance.
Yes.
So whatever the ailment is. And so, and it's beautiful and it's natural and it's free.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so I created the show just because my love for animals, my love for people, and just getting the truth out. The truth is very important to me, and that's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be loving one another, and this is just a subsection of my love for animals, humanity, and this planet. So that's why I created the show. It's on Amazon Prime. So if anybody has Amazon Prime, you can type in Love Gianna. Season 1 and 2 are on there. And we're still working through season 2, getting it uploaded on there. And then it's also on YouTube. I'm able to stream it on YouTube as well. And then I post it on my social media. You can just look me up on social media. It's pretty much on all my platforms. And it's on podcasts, all podcast platforms if you prefer listening to things. So yeah.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much for sharing your journey, your story, your inspiration, your love for living, and your love for God. And I really am so thankful that you came, Gianna. I have one more question.
Yes.
What does holistic living mean to you? Ask everybody this. So I'd love to know what it means to you, because everybody has a different viewpoint on this.
Well, we definitely touched on this, but I think holistic living is the whole picture. Isn't that the definition of holistic? Is just the whole picture and many different parts to the whole. And I think that living is, whether you want it to be or not, holistic. You have all of these different facets of our beautiful lives here on Earth. And we only get one, and it's special. It's a special journey, and we should not take it for granted. And I think there's many facets to it: mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, and doing our best in each area.
I want to know now, how can we stay in touch with you? You said, can you say verbally what your Instagram is? And
Yes.
do you have anything coming up in your life?
So my Instagram is @GSimone. So GSIMONE. And my Facebook is Gianna Simone. My YouTube is Gianna Simone. And my TikTok is G Simone. What other platform? Twitter, Gianna Simone 1. I think that nails them all.
Okay.
Just look up Gianna Simone. I'll be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And reach out to me, like text me and let me know, or not text me, message me and let me know if you've found out about my stuff through this podcast, and I love talking to people on social media if and when I can. It's really a joy. So yeah, so reach out to me and follow me and stay in touch. And then and what I have coming up. I'm so glad you asked. So this is my whole food plant-based cookbook. and it goes with the theme of Love Gianna. It's called Plant Love. And so I incorporate, this is a picture I took, this was a photo shoot I did in Sicily in front of this
Oh,
really cool fruit stand. And this cute Italian man, he's somewhere in his shop over here. He was so gracious to let us photograph in front of it. And so I incorporate, you know, my life and making movies and modeling for years. I incorporate that into and my love for Christ and inspirational messages. And I have my notes and stuff. This was from the publisher to check like color and stuff and texture. It's like this really beautiful.
Oh, it's so pretty.
Texture.
So natural looking. I love it.
It was really fun to make. It took a lot of work. And then there's breakfast, lunch, dinner, dips, dressings, desserts, snacks, and everything is easy, 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 easy. I wanted to keep it easy. Like cookbooks sometimes overwhelm me, and I'm like, this is a long recipe.
Yeah.
Long ones in here, but it's just simple. It's simple, healthy eating, and I just want to inspire people to eat healthy and know that it's literally in the palm of your hands, and it's accessible and it's easy and not stressful and it's fun. And so that's my cookbook. It's coming out soon.
Beautiful. And people can pre-order it, right?
Yes. On my website, giannasimone.com. And then you can just like click the shop button, and then it will tell you to go into like, the gouaches are under Heal, and this is under Nourish. And then I have like a merch line for like organic cotton stuff, like athleisure wear and hats and stuff like that. And that's in dress. So I have Nourish, Heal, Dress. And so this is under Nourish. So yeah, so that's my stuff.
Love it. Gianna, thank you so much for sharing, and congratulations on the upcoming release of the book. It's gorgeous, and I'm sure it was so much work, but if you're listening to this and you need inspiration, I highly suggest you go get it, because one of the most, like Gianna said, and Dr. Scott Soul says, food goes back to everything. So get the good stuff into your body. Your entire existence will shift when you start feeding yourself more phytonutrients and life-giving foods. So thank you, Gianna, so much for being on. Again, you are amazing, and I am so glad that we got to know each other better.
Me too. I'm so grateful. I wish you lived closer. I feel like we would be great friends. We have so much in common.
If we could live out in California, I would do it in a heartbeat. I just have a husband who doesn't want to be out there. Hey, but don't believe me, James and Dahlia, we talk about it all the time. Like, guys, I'm going to get out. We're going to get us out to California. Just, it's going to happen. So
you come visit and we'll hang out.
Yes, for sure. For sure. We will. Thank you again, Gianna. You are amazing, and be well.
Thank you.